Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on testing a lot of the balancing changes within the mid-season update. To AK-74U, the PPSH, a ton of the snipers, were all listed changes, and we'll kind of discuss how this is going to impact the meta. We were also able to get our hands on the brand new pistol before it was removed, and we were able to do a little bit of in-game testing with the Ballistic Knife, kind of give you an idea if it's even worth using. So if you enjoyed the video, learned something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. Go on today's video is 12,000 likes, so hopefully you guys could destroy that number. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on, as we are getting very, very close to 1 million subscribers. So we were actually able to do a lot of this testing live on stream. We were able to jump into a private match, get some basic weapon testing on the brand new pistol, kind of get some damage values, rate of fire, and this thing is very good. It has like a 30 round mag. You can actually run it akimbo, and its TTK is sub 400 when you actually run it in akimbo. In a single one, it's about as good as a Nerf Psychov is now. So not overpowered, but akimbo, it's still going to be pretty solid in terms of damage, TTK. Let's go ahead and kind of go over some of the different damage values. So for the up close damage, it does 42 to the head, 36 to the chest, and 30 to the stomach and the limbs. It had a fire rate of around 637, which brings its chest shot TTK to 456, which is pretty solid. You needed all 7 chest shots to hit that. So more than likely, you're going to get like an 8 shot to kill, which is around 532 milliseconds, which is very competitive with a lot of the SMGs. I was able to get this in a quote-unquote private bot lobby that is available in the matchmaking. You still get access to Quarry. So that's where I was able to do a majority of this testing, just because you get full access to bots. You can see the fire rate has almost no recoil. So this thing is going to be pretty good single, and it'll probably be very good akimbo, but obviously have that damage drop off limitation, or they're going to nerf it to the dirt when it's in akimbo. But they recently removed it. The challenge for it, in case you do want to unlock it whenever it does come, you needed 5 pistol kills in 20 separate matches. Regardless if you need to leave or not, we'll have to find out. I guess it depends on the game, but we were able to test that. The other big change was to the 5 milliwatt laser for sniper rifles. It was basically added to be the replacement to the tac laser. Obviously, it's kind of hard to tell whether or not aiming stability is a big difference, because there's not really a value to quantify aiming stability unless they gave us the specific numbers and they said it went from here to here. It's very hard to test. It goes based off feel, and I haven't had enough play time to say, hey, you know what? It feels way better. You have way more aiming stability. That wasn't the case, but we were able to test the different aim down sight speeds. And with the Pellington, with the standard build, which we'll talk about, you can get a 400 millisecond ADS. The Swiss right around 417 milliseconds. The Tundra was like 467 milliseconds, which is pretty fast considering the Car 98 typical build is right around 400 milliseconds. So we were able to test that at around 500 meters on the Swiss. The bullet velocity was right around 930. And then I went and tested the new suppressor versus the agency suppressor. One of the benefits of having the agency suppressor has been the bullet velocity, range, and then the sound suppression, but also vertical recoil. It actually helps with, vertical recoil, even though it hurts aiming stability and aim down sight speed. Usually a pretty decent penalty to have a suppressor. Now they've kind of brought this sound suppressor where you're only getting 10% bullet velocity instead of like 25% in general. Obviously, it's case by case. It moves up a little bit different, but for the most part, that's going to be the difference. And then ADS speeds is not hurting. Effective damage range, about less than 10%, so very negligible, especially for an SMG, which has a drop off of like 15 meters. You're only really losing like 1.5 meters. Not a huge difference. But it's keeping your aim down sight speed good, giving you decent bullet velocity, which is kind of the main thing. And then you get the suppressor without having all those penalties. So I think this will be definitely the meta for SMGs if you ran a suppressor to begin with, which is the vast majority of the community. One of the other biggest changes that we were able to take a look at was the PPSH. This damage profile is a big difference. The range, not so much. This is like 1.5 meters. It's not a huge difference, but the actual difference to the PPSH damage makes it so that it can actually be 1 shot less to kill if you land a majority of chest and stomach shots. As far as the AK-74U, we don't test for neck damage, so that's kind of a little hard to test. Sprint to fire speed increased 20%. That's a buff. Bullet velocity decreased, but it already was well above, so that's not a huge nerf. And then the maximum damage range decreased by 25%, which could be a huge difference depending on how you use the weapon. It just won't be as effective at ranges where it was able to be stretched to before. So the LC10 is probably going to step in a little bit more for the forefront. But let's go ahead and talk about the change to the PPSH. So I've already updated this on the spreadsheet that I have accessible where it has all the different loadouts and stuff. I still got to go through the loadouts and maybe change some things up. But the TTK compared, if we go ahead and scroll down a little bit, we can see that the PPSH, it was changed. This damage value used to be 27. Where it was 10 shots to kill. Now it's over here at 28, which lowers it to 9 shots to kill. You do need 9 chest shots or stomach shots, but the TTK is 529. If you mix in 1 headshot, you will need less chest shots, but overall, you're going to probably get a reliable 9-shot time to kill for the vast majority of your gunfights. For you to get 8 shot to kill, you probably get a headshot. You need 4 of them. Unrealistic. So the most common TTK now, instead of being closer to 595 with a headshot in the mix, you get a little bit lower possibly. Now, you're more than likely going to get a 529 TTK, which is pretty good. You can see that the PPSA jumped up and it actually has a really good TTK up there with the Modern Warfare MP5. Obviously, its hip fire is not as good. Its rate of fire is good, so it's very unforgiving. They got rid of the open bolt delay. So the PPSH might be a little too good. I think it's going to push it almost to meta, especially that it has a large ammo capacity. Even though it doesn't do a ton of damage, it makes up for it with the fire rate. And I think the PPSH is jumping in there. So we did some quick testing with the Ballistic Knife and it looks like it's not all that great. You're probably going to be better off with the Cali stick when you meleeed. I jump into Plunder. People basically stream snipe, Q sniped. We ended up in the same lobby. I was able to test some basic stuff. Shot them in the chest when they were fully plated. It did not down them. I got a headshot while they were fully plated. It fully downed them. So that's pretty much how it works, kind of how you expect, similar to crossbow. Maybe if you damage, you could swap. And then because they'd be below 200 health, then you'd get that. So overall, you're going to need 2 to finish somebody off if they're at full health, unless you get that headshot in the mix. So overall, nothing special. It's more of a gimmick type thing. If you're using something, you probably still use the Cali sticks, unless you're just going for some kind of radical challenge where you think you can headshot somebody with the Ballistic Knife at a great distance. So appreciate everyone was able to jump in that. Let's go ahead and get into some loadouts. So the vast majority of your SMG builds will probably be something along the lines of this. You're going to have a sound suppressor. You're going to run it under barrel or not, depending if you want mobility. Some people are going bruiser grip. Some people are going patrol grip. It depends on how you want to use it. If you want to get faster mobility, you're probably going to run the regular mag. And then you're going to run either an optic. You're going to run the airborne elastic. You're good. I didn't actually get a chance to test this because I didn't have anyone shoot me. But I saw some people talking about it, that a couple of the sniper guys were testing it, and the airborne elastic, it says it helps with flinch resistance. Apparently it does help with that now. So that's something I'll have to test in more of a dedicated video for different weapon classes, but we'll have to find out how that works. So airborne elastic, then you kind of pick and choose what makes the most sense. Most people go Raider stock, and then you're left with this type of build. You either go with a barrel, which you can go task force if recoil is not an issue. This will help with bullet velocity, strafe speed, and effective damage range. Will essentially be countering any damage range you're losing from the sound suppressor, but you're going to have a way more snappy gun. And that's how you're going to build probably most of the SMGs with that, or field agent grip or bruiser, depending on your play style, patrol. There's a lot of variance there. And then that's kind of how you would build those out. When it comes to the snipers, pretty much all the snipers are going to be the same, except for probably the ZRG. But just to give you kind of rule of thumb, we'll go through probably different loadouts overall. Wrap suppressor is still going to give you the best bullet velocity, so you're going to want to go with that one. The ZRG is kind of an exception where maybe you'd go with the sound moderator, just because his bullet velocity is so high already, it could stand to lose a little bit, and it'll still be very, very fast. So it's just something to consider. You're still going to want to use wrap suppressor, combat recon, 5 milliwatt. And the thing with the ZRG, it only has 3-round mags, so you gotta have an extra attachment for that. Airborne elastic. And if you want the fastest ADS, you're going to go with the 4X, which they actually allow you to customize now. You just got to unlock them, or just do the old trick that we would do before, where you put on the 3X, you change the reticle, and then you lock it in with the 4X, and you're still going to get a fast ADS speed. And there's your 5 attachment type of setup where you're pretty much good to go. So it looks like a lot of the changes they've made are actually accurate to what they've said they're doing. So it's a huge step in the right direction. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, learned something new. If you did, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.